Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Entrepreneur Show. And once again, we have with ourselves a wonderful guest. And as you know, on this show, we have the guest and we talk about especially the success in business and what inspired him to be in the field of business. And these are people that serve the community in an immense way. And with myself today, I have Mostafizur, who is the director and financial consultant from Beneco Financial Service. Welcome to the show, Mustafizur Bhai.
Assalamu alaikum, Sharia Bhai. Thank you very much for inviting me in this popular show.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, it's my pleasure to have you on the show. Now, let's get to it and let's talk about how you became interested in such business. And from a young age, if you can explain to me, maybe it was studying, maybe it was something that you've always wanted to be interested, or somebody inspired you maybe.
Yes, from very young age, as I was always interested about the financial sector, to be honest with you. So when I finished my SSC and HSC, so when I got to admission to university, I chose business administration, and the major courses I have done finance. When I came in this country, I did my master's in finance as well. So you can imagine for a long time I've been in the same sector or in the area that I'm always been. So when I started my career, initially I have got into the teaching profession. But again, it's the business sector that I was teaching.
So, I mean, as a young child,
Yes.
is it, I mean, the word financial sector or financial services, it sounds quite interesting. Is it because of financial gains, or is it because it's a service that you wanted to always provide? I mean, from a young age, obviously, at that time, you don't really think in that way. But like I said, were you inspired to maybe accountancy or something like that? Were you inspired?
It's actually, I was looking at the different international companies, like Disneyland.
As a young child?
Yes.
Okay.
Ford Motors, General Electric, then Microsoft. So I was imagining these companies have actually changed the whole world. And as a business student, I was mainly studying or looking or dealing with in the business sector or financial side of these businesses. So when I was thinking that there's something that we need to think about our country as well, and because I was interested in this sector, so maybe there's something I can do in the same area. While I was in Bangladesh, I was also doing businesses at that time, very little.
So when you said your country, were you always interested in serving your country, or is it in the community? Because we've got a huge Bengali community in this country as well. So mainly, I mean, would you say that you wanted to be a service to your fellow men?
Yes. So I wanted to put myself in a position that where I can actually communicate with people and provide them some sort of services, rather than doing corporate job 9 to 5, which you only serve with a particular company. That's it. And when you get home, that's all finished. But this is not something that I was interested at all.
Okay. Well, as from a very early age, you've always been interested in serving, because serving the community is something that is, especially for most entrepreneurs, in the show is called The Entrepreneur. And this is what I like about it. When the people say, they come, they say, I've become a businessman, so I can give back to the community. I can give back and serve the community, and enhance and maybe inspire youngsters and stuff like that. So it's a broader way of thinking, and by and large, at the end of the day, is philanthropy, isn't it? To be kind and a service to the fellow human beings.
Yes, yeah. So I'm also inspired with like Dr. Yunus' activities. You can see that he always promote about social businesses. So not to do something only yourself, do something which also helps other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was my point. So this particular financial consultancy, how did you go into that? And you can tell me a little bit of history about this particular business.
Okay, so obviously I had interest about the financial sector, and the time when I was taking my first mortgage, I didn't have very good experience dealing with banks, dealing with...
You didn't have very good experience, right?
No, so I was completely like shocked, the level of service and the way people are actually dealing
Right.
when someone is actually asking for the service. Like, we're paying for the services, but no.
What would you say they lacked in those services?
The lackings that I have found is they're not actually getting the full information from you. So what I need, you need to know. If you provide a service, you need to know what actually my demands or requirements. Okay. And second thing is obviously the communication. I need to update it. Okay, what actually you're getting from me, or what options are available from me. So first thing is they don't know that what actually I was looking for is I was one of the number. Okay, so they're counting me as
just another number
of clients. Okay,
right.
So that's not actual service. I'm not a commodity. I'm not a product. So that was actually got me into the position that like, okay, there's something.
So from looking at that, what kind of services did you think of providing? Obviously, you said there's deficiency in the amount of services that they gave you, or you know, maybe they were not friendly enough. So obviously, you learn from these things. So what do you provide in your service? I would say that is better than others.
Yes. So I have gone through this situation that when, as a first-time buyer, like, what questions someone might have, what support someone need, what guidance someone need from the very beginning. So if I put myself as a first-time buyer, I know that these are the questions going to be rising in my mind, and I'm supposed to ask these questions to the advisor. So because at some point I was in the client side, so I know that. So
you've seen both sides of the coin, if you like.
Yes.
And it's always best when you any type of business, and that's what I say to you know, most of the youngsters that come by me. I say, look, if you want to do a business, you've got to put yourself in your client's shoes or your customer's shoes, and you've got to ask those questions, and then you've got to be the one who provides the answers. So you've got to be on both sides. So as you know, just for the viewers' sake, those of you who are watching, in any type of business, first of all, you know, whoever you're serving, whoever you're providing the services to, try to put yourself in, you know, in their shoes. So whether it be financial services, whether it be the hospitality service, you know, be on the flip side of the coin, and what would you expect from a service, and that's what you need to provide. So hope that makes sense. Going back to Mostafizur Rahman, right? So these are the service that you provide, and obviously trial and error. Were you successful in the first instances?
No, so I was actually ended up the wrong advice. Okay.
Right.
And I didn't know that what I got actually it is the wrong thing I was given. Okay. So obviously I had to go through a hard situation, because I got the things which is actually I didn't ask. And it wasn't actually supposed to provide it to me. Anyway, I have come out from that situation, and then, as I said, that I had the desire all the time that there's something I'm going to do in the future when the time comes up for me. So at that moment, it inspires me that because I was looking for this type of services for a long time, and I found there's no one actually. Well, there are people. Maybe I couldn't find anyone, or there is a gap. And people.
Well, this is what business is about. You see, when you see a gap, you fill that gap. If and you know, if you can be unique about it, then this is what will draw people to you. So yeah, you explained to me how you got into this type of business. How long have you been around in this particular business then?
So I have started the business 2014. So it's just over 7 years now. Okay, alhamdulillah, initially it was only myself, and now we have a very big team. We have office here, we have office in Bangladesh as well, back office, and we are serving hundreds of customers.
So this is basically it's a mortgage consultancy, you know, it's mainly borrowing, right? And what other services do you provide other than the high street lenders, high street conventional mortgages? Sorry.
So if if we say about the high street, actually there are only 6-7 banks what we are familiar with. Okay, but we deal with more than 100 lenders. Okay?
Right.
So those banks are not available to public because they don't have presence in the high street. So we have access to them, and they do businesses through the mortgage intermediaries, so through us.
Okay.
So this is one of the things that what
you provide
a part of the high street. We also have access to the high street lenders,
right,
and alongside we have the specialist lenders. So we do conventional mortgages. We also do Sharia mortgages.
Sharia compliant mortgages,
Sharia
because this is it's a huge thing at the moment, or for the last good number of years.
Yes,
because people are more conscious. I mean, people want to buy properties, but especially from the Muslim community, they're very conscious with the riba fact.
Yes.
So you provide that service, and
yes. So Sharia, there are only a handful firms in the UK, and especially if I say in London, who got the permission for
Sharia compliance
mortgages. We are one of them.
Okay, fantastic.
So yes, we do cover HPP in FCA terms. We call it home purchase plan.
Right.
So is a residential buy-to-let, and we do have access to the lenders. We can advise, we can guide the client before they submit the application, or we submit the application on behalf of them.
Right.
So they don't, if you go to the bank directly, what happens is they will do the credit check. They will tell you yes or no.
Right.
That's it. So it's end. Okay.
Right.
When you come to the advisor, we analyze your situation. We discuss with you. If you're ready, we can continue. If you're not ready, we can tell you that this is not, or the options we can discuss.
So
with
you have other options. I mean,
yes, we can,
something might not be very straightforward for certain individuals. So you provide, you look for the options, and you try to at least go that extra mile to provide them with the service, right? Because we know about the Sharia compliant services. They're very stringent, especially in when they're very thorough. When they go give somebody, a borrowing, basically borrow money to someone, but with and that's why a lot of people, they find it more easier with the high street conventional mortgages. Why is this the case? Is there something that we can do in the future with regards to this and make it much more, accessible? Let's just say.
Now we got only few lenders in the UK who provide Sharia compliant products. So obviously, there's not that much competition. Okay. Second thing is the funding is another thing which you need to consider, because the conventional lenders, they have access to like various means. Okay. Whereas the Sharia compliant lender, they have access limited resources they have access to. These are the two things that I can say that.
So would you say if there was more competition, if there's more providers of Sharia compliant services, then it would be a little bit less of a headache, let's just say, with regards to accessing?
Definitely. If you have more competitors or more service providers in the industry, then obviously everyone will try to provide the better services than the others. Also, more funder will come to give the funds to the lenders. So at the moment, there's not enough competition, so the only few lenders who are actually providing the services. The other thing is the conveyancing is also different. Different from the conventional one. So that I think there are two layer of conveyancing process they have to do, which is slightly complicated than conventional one. So I would say it's slightly expensive as well.
Right. So what would you advise to, and I'm interested in the Sharia compliant services. What would you advise to our viewers what's the best way of accessing?
Sharia, we are independent advisory firms. So when someone comes to us, we have to tell that our position. Okay, so we have access to Sharia compliant providers, also non-Sharia compliant. Right. So if you want to get advice or services, or you're interested only Sharia compliant, then we'll discuss only those products or lenders services. Which
some people are. They're just interested
some people
in
they come.
Otherwise, they're not going to take a mortgage.
So if there are certain things they need to consider, as I said, is product rate, which in Sharia terms we call a rental rate, whereas the other
there's quite a few terms, right? There's ijara, there's what's the other one? Murhaba or mubaraha? Sorry. I'm not very good with these terms.
No, that's fine. We use the word called a rental, so it's going to simple. Whereas
but they're not all the same, are they?
The terms are the same for the customers.
Okay, all right.
Whereas the conventional lenders, they use the term interest. So the rate was slightly expensive. Timing wise is lengthy compared to the conventional one. Cost wise is more.
Which is a shame, to be honest, because going halal makes it a bit more.
And documentation wise, I would say you have to provide more documents, and obviously as there are only a few lenders, so the choices are limited as well.
Right. Like I said, they're very, very, very stringent. Okay, well, on a different note, and I always ask my guests this because most businessmen, they are very, very busy. How do you tackle in your personal life with marriage and children and stuff like that, and then keep up the business work?
So obviously, when it's come to the work, there is a limited things that I have to say that we do maintain is office hours 9 to 5. Okay, we have office staff, admin, caseworker, so the people are in the office all the time. If you email us or call us, okay, there will be always someone responding.
So how do you give your family time as well? So Bobby's happy with you being 9 to 5 every day in the office, and
well, this is job, okay. So they know, my family knows this is job. Obviously, as a director and the owner of the firm, I never finish at 5 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, you obviously have children. Have you got any children?
Yes, I got two children.
Two children. So you got a little? Are these?
One is 5, one is 1.5.
Okay, so the school runs is still there, right?
Alhamdulillah.
You're managing well.
Yes, we are doing well, and I do not want to entertain like my personal timing with the clients. So if you call me after 6 o'clock for the work related, it's very unlikely that someone is going to respond again. And I don't use my mobile for the work purpose. So there's only my very close people and friends, families, they know my mobile number. Okay, not for the work purpose. Even for someone for the work related, they call me and I said, it's probably good if we
call the office or something.
During the daytime. Because
so you're managing well with regards to family, comfortably managing the personal life as well as your business life.
Alhamdulillah, so far.
Fantastic. Now, going back to your the business again, have you faced any types of problems? Maybe you can share with our guests, the viewers. Sorry.
Yes, there's a few things I can share with you. Is that we, as the intermediary firm, we try to provide guidance, support, and advice to the clients. So we do not give like 100% guarantee this will happen. It's always down to the lender. And obviously, our effort is to provide the best services and to arrange this finance for the applicants. It is sometimes time is another thing that you need to consider, because last year there was like during the pandemic time, many banks were closed. Products were limited. So even we were trying to help or provide services, but we have limitation because it's not we providing the finance. We arrange from the lenders. So if the lender turned down or if they close, if they change the policies, there's nothing we can do. So the time we provide the service advice, it's only valid for that day or for that moment.
But you inform the customers, the borrowers, that these could change, and you have clauses and stuff like that in place. Because otherwise you put them in a kind of like a loophole, and where do we go as customers?
So we do aware them that this is it can be changed anytime. So they shouldn't be surprised. If the economy is stable like now, it's very unlikely we'll get any surprising information every week. But last year was a difficult time, to be honest with the way.
So this is a type of problem that you face. Obviously, you got to make the customers aware as well. Now, quickly, because we got a little bit of short of time, any future plans with the Beneco?
Yes, we can see in our, actually the way when we started the business in in the early stages, it wasn't in my mind that we're going to do the Bengali community. Okay,
Yeah.
it was open for everyone.
Right.
Okay, and you can see the office is Canary Wharf. And to be honest with the first few years is the non-Bangladeshi clients actually we mainly have, but over the period of time, because of the contacts and
It's expanding in terms
the
of
media
clientele.
coverage and other things, I can see now our majority customers are Bangladeshi.
Fantastic,
Okay,
fantastic.
and we're getting more and more encouraged and request as well that we can we do some more for the Bangladeshi community. So that's why yes, last year we have started doing regular TV programs with medias, and we have planned to come more in the Bengali community.
Maybe open up a few more offices.
Let's see if the time's come.
Fantastic. Just for our viewers, and hopefully we have a lot of youngsters, future businessmen. What kind of, as a businessman, what kind of tips would you give? Give me 2 or 3 tips, just to be, just sustain in the business field.
Okay. The first things I do always maintain is the honesty.
Right.
Okay. Even the customer don't like you, okay, you can go away, or because I can't make
Don't
you
tell
happy.
them something, under promise and over deliver kind of thing. Don't promise them something that you can't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have turned down so many customers and said that, no, this is not something I can tell you or I can give you, because this is what is. So if you understand this thing, so honesty is the first thing that I always try to, and the second thing is the commitment. Okay?
Right.
So if we say something, we need to go back to the client or customer and say that yes, even if you can't deliver, tell them that I can't do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So they can go away. But hanging their application or their inquiry, the things, this makes everyone like unpleasant and unhappy. Family life, work life need to be balanced. Okay. Because we do all these things to make our life happy, our family happy, our son happy. So if we mixed up everything, like family and the work, as you asked me a few minutes ago.
Because it's a huge factor.
Yeah.
You, just for work's sake, you don't want to deprive the family as well. So,
Yes.
which is a very important factor in our lives.
So after doing all day work, when we go back to home, I just switch off my work things.
Right. Give full time to the family. Brilliant. Well, viewers who have been watching, I've had Mostafizur Rahman here, and he's given you a few tips, which is honesty, commitment, and balance, which are brilliant tips, I would say. Thank you for joining us today on the Entrepreneur Show, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum.